Hi, I'm Madison and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my birth month TBR. So November is my birth month. I am born on November 8th, which is actually the week, I think exactly a week after when this video is supposed to go up. I'm pre-filming a bunch of content currently. Normally the way that I do my November TBRs is very much a mood reading month. I don't really like to set myself down and bog myself down for the month of November, also because it is, you know, it's a month where I like to kind of read whatever I feel like. It's a mood reading month, basically. And I don't want to feel pressured to have to read something if I change my mind because I don't want to fall into a slump during my birthday. That's just sad. I think there's only four books on here that I actually have to, I don't have to get to, but I have to get to them because they're arcs. I have to get to them. No, you do. I do have to get to them. So the first one is going to be Of Shadow and Moonlight by ᴛɪධᴛᴏᴅ. This is a upcoming new adult fantasy romance. I don't know exactly if it's new adult or adult or not. But I met the author when I was at a Polycon and she was in a Cassian cosplay, which just like, I was like, hello, I don't know who you are, but that's really cool. And she was like, well, I have a book coming out. Do you want to read it? And I was like, you're dressed as Cassian. Of course I want to read your book. So this is her book. The only thing I know about it is from what the blurb says, which is a woman fated to die young, a man cursed to live forever, and a darkness that threatens to destroy everything that they love. I read like the first chapter of this a little bit ago because I was kind of feeling like it and then was like, nah, I'm gonna wait. But the girl in this, she has like a degenerative like lung illness. So she's supposed to die basically like in a year. And then there's this dude named Damien who appears and like introduces her to the world of magic. And you know that there's this hidden war between gods and monsters that's been going on. And apparently she has a secret that she's been keeping all her life. And it's something to do with the blood in her veins. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. I really don't know anything else about this. It doesn't give me anything else to go off of. So that's the best you're going to get. I'm excited for this. I think, you know, there's not a lot of fantasy books I've been super excited about this. Yes, when I do pick one up, it's because I'm genuinely excited for it. And that is this. We also have Too Tempting by Sarah Blue. I know that I'm going to be getting a copy of this. It comes out November 30th. This is book 4 in her Heat Haven Omegaverse. This is an Omegaverse series. Book 4, this is following the sister of the hero in book 3. You don't need to necessarily read these all in order, but I will say that what I have realized is that the characters do always show up in the later books and they do tend to have somewhat of a role in the book. So it's more fun if you do read them in order just because then you get to actually see these cameos and have fun with them. This one here, I don't know too much about it. Well, except for the fact that I know who the sister is, who's the main character. She is an Omega. She had a really bad experience and now she's finally founding a new pack. And she's also someone who in her free time makes money making NSFW art. 4 guys, 2 girls, I think is what the polyamorous relationship is for this pack. I don't know, it was very confusing. It was confusing in book 3 because the brother was like, who are you with? And she's like, everyone. And I was like, who is everyone? So we'll be finding that out. The last arc I have to get to is Just Between Us by Madison Wright. So this one is coming out on November 18th and it's kind of just giving me total fall autumnal vibes, which is why I think it'd be perfect to read in November. But you're following Ellie Bates and Camden Lane. Ellie, she runs a apartment complex. She's like the landlord for it and also lives there. And her parents are the people who own like multiple different apartment complexes. And her parents are like, hey, this is your final strike. You need to get your shit together or else we're gonna fire you from your position as landlord and also evict you from the apartment complex. And she's like, ha, shit, I actually need to get my shit together. But then you have Camden who has just moved into the apartment complex. He doesn't plan to stay there very long. And the two of them instantly have this like sexual chemistry and it's like a no-no zone to date the residents because she's the landlord. But apparently they have this like crazy chemistry and like want to be together, but he's leaving soon and she's not supposed to date him. And so it's like, ooh, what's she gonna do? So I don't know, that's all I know about it. I think it's gonna be really fun and the cover was just like, I love the cover, so that was my main thing. I do have one more arc that I can read in November. I don't know 100% if I will get to it because I can actually read this in December because the book comes out in December. So this is a very, like, if I get to it, great. If I don't, I'm not gonna cry a river because I can read it in December. But that is Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. This is book 2 in the Adrian and Isolde trilogy. It is a vampire fantasy romance series. Oh, I love my vampires so much. I'm excited just to read this just because I want more vampires. I've read a couple of vampire books this year, none of which have really hit it for me yet. And I loved King of Battle and Blood. I love the vampires in that. So it's kind of going to be nice to go back into this because I want to be around vampires again. But this is book 2 in that series. I'm so excited for it. I heard that it just gets absolutely crazy, which I'm so here for. And this series is about Adrian and Isolde. Isolde is a human princess, and Adrian is a vampire king and basically this overlord conqueror who has been taking his like vampire army and basically conquering all the different kingdoms. And when he gets to Isolde's kingdom, in order for her to, you know, prevent her kingdom from being conquered, she offers herself as a marriage alliance to King Adrian so that her kingdom is saved. And so they have this like marriage of convenience kind of between them, and then she tries to murder him on their wedding night. Very, very fun, very sexy, very steamy, very spicy. So that's what this one is. We then have a book that I want to read, but I don't own it yet. I haven't bought it. I will hopefully buy it soon, but that is going to be Losers by Harley LaRue. This is Losers Part 1. Part 2 is coming out the very first week of December, so I'm probably going to read this at the end of November because I want to read them pretty close and back to one another. This duet takes place after The Dare by Harley LaRue. The Dare was her like Halloween erotica novella that she wrote, and this is actually a full-length novel that is taking place like I think 4 years after The Dare. And I'm so excited for it because I love The Dare. That is a book that has stuck with me. I mean, okay, the clown orgy was not my thing. The clown orgy was a little traumatizing because I don't like clowns. But apart from the clowns, it was like an amazing book. It would have been 5 stars if the clowns did not exist. Otherwise, it was great and I'm so here for it. So I don't really know too much what it's about. I never read what it was about because I want to kind of be surprised going into it because that's how I went to The Dare. But basically it's a romance. The main romance is between this girl whose boyfriend used to bully this guy in high school, and then she also used to bully this guy. And then when they're in college, she comes back home for a Halloween party and they end up playing like this truth or dare game with beer pong, and she loses and ends up having to be like his servant for the night. And it gets sexy and stuff like that. So yeah. The other book I want to read, I definitely want to read something from Corinne Michaels. So I don't know what Corinne Michaels book I am going to read. I've got so many of hers. I have to continue with her Willow Creek Valley series, or I can start something brand new because I'm an indecisive bitch. I will say out of all of them, the one that I'm kind of leaning towards is Consolation, because this is a duet. It's a salvation duet, and this is about a woman whose husband dies in the military, and then she's comforted by the husband's best friend. And then the two of them fall in love, but she's like, I can't be with him. He's my dead husband's best friend. And I'm like, oh shit, what you gonna do? And I just feel like this is gonna be very angsty, especially because I've never read a duet from Corinne before. I've only read like her standalone romances, and her books already have such like a chokehold on me that I feel like this is just gonna be, kicking me right in the ass. So I don't know, I'm excited. I feel like I'm gonna want to read this. I always like to read really messed up, like sad, depressing books in November. I feel like when the autumnal vibes come in, I really want those like angsty romances. So I want to put ᴛᴏᴏ the Cursed and ᴛᴏᴏ the Feared on my TBR. The problem is that I need to be in the mood to want to read these because they're YA fantasies, and I just have not been in the mood to read them. I will say though, if I end up reading the other 2 fantasies on my TBR and love them, it'll put me into a fantasy mood to want to read more fantasies. But I read King with the Wicked last November and gave it 3 stars. I didn't like it, okay? And then everyone's like, oh my god, but it gets so much better, it gets so much better. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Now that the complete trilogy is out, I'm like, okay, shit. I should try and finish it. So I've got it here. If I feel like it, I will get to it. But I'm not promising anything. And Katie, if you're watching this video, I know I told you I would read it in November. I lied. I will read it if I feel like it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please go to my channel. And until next time, thanks so much everyone. Bye-bye.